Okay, Panthers, this video is going to work through some of the Learning Target 14 problems with you. This is the part of the assessment you've not seen before. Okay, so we're going to pause again for about 3 minutes, and we'd like you to try making both lines. Go ahead and get to work now, please. Okay, Panthers, take a look at the first example, the example on the left. On this example on the left, all we're asking you to do is to graph the line that is defined by this table. You could simply plot these ordered pairs. -1, 6 is the point right here. 0, 2. 0, 2 is start at the origin and go only 2 up. 1, -2, Panthers, is from the origin, right 1 and down 2. And what we're asking you to do then is to graph the line that contains all three of those. Please remember, Panthers, that a line should go beyond the points that are graphed. It should go indefinitely in both directions. Please draw the arrowhead, and please fill the entire space of the graph. For an equation that is already solved for y, in other words, that is in slope-intercept form, like the one on the right, Panthers, please remember that this is your slope. Your slope is 4/3. This number, -2, tells you where to make the first point on the graph on the y-axis at y equals -2. From here, you know the slope is 4/3, and think about rise over run. Starting at the point I just drew, if I go up 4 and then right 3 and plot another point, well, that point should be on the line as well. I could do the same. I could go up 4 and write another 3 right on the edge of the screen. I could even go back 3 and down 4 and find another point there. All 4 of these points should be on my line, which goes kind of through there. Okay. So the most basic task you've got on Learning Target 14 is we're going to give you a couple of conditions and ask you to graph the line. And I hope you're going to have success with that today. Here's another task, Panthers, that goes along with Learning Target 14. Panthers, here we're going to ask you to look at a line graph and ask you just to identify what the x and the y-intercepts are. So we'll pause for about 1.5 minutes. Go ahead and try it, Panthers. Okay, Panthers. You know, what I think makes a difference in this problem is if you can pick the points off of the graph first. Please remember, Panthers, that the x-intercept is the point on the line, or excuse me, the point on the graph where the line crosses the x-axis. This right here, this point right here is your x-intercept. But what we'll want you to be able to do is to identify that ordered pair for us. Can you find the y-intercept, the point where the line crosses the y-axis? Yes, it's right there. There's the y-intercept. Panthers, what you must remember is that the x and y intercepts are to be written as ordered pairs. So if I ask you to tell me what the x-intercept is, I'm going to ask you to not tell me -3, but the point -3, 0. The y-intercept is an ordered pair as well. So don't just tell me it's 5. And don't write 5, 0. This is 0, 5. Notice the difference here. This point, 0, 5, starts at the origin and then goes up 5 right there. Okay, Panthers, it's our last task in practice. And it models what we practiced in class yesterday. We want you to do 3 things, please, with this equation. The equation, by the way, is the one right here, 2x plus 5y equals -10. Panthers, we want you to find the x and y intercepts. We want you to solve the equation for y, and then we want you to graph the line with either method. We're going to pause the video for 4 minutes and ask you to try this. Okay, Panthers, I hope you had success. To find the x-intercept, you want to write out the equation as it's written, 2x plus 5y negative 10, and you want to cross out the y part. You only want the x term. You want 2x equals negative 10. And if 2x equals negative 10, you can divide both sides by 2 to get x equals negative 5. Technically, the best answer would be to write that that's the point negative 5, 0. To find the y-intercept, Panthers, you want to take that equation, 2x plus 5y equals negative 10. And then you want to cross out the x term. You want to use only the y term, 5y equals negative 10. And if 5y equals negative 10 and you divide both sides by 5, then y is negative 2. So you have found the x and the y-intercepts now. Part B says solve the equation for y. This, many of you thought, was the most complicated thing you had to do in this learning target. 2x plus 5y equals negative 10. Panthers, if I want to get the y term by itself, I need to take this 2x and move it to the other side and change its sign. And now what I should say is, well, I've got 5y equals negative 2x minus 10. My final step to get y by itself would be to divide both sides by 5. So I get y equals, you know, nothing goes into both 2 and 5. I don't need to reduce that fraction, negative 2/5 x. But negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. And here is my line equation now in y equals mx plus b form. Y equals negative 2/5 x minus 2. Part C says simply graph the line, and it'll say using either method. You can either use the fact that you know the slope and the intercept now, or if you're like me, I'll put a smiley face here, I'd really like to see you use the intercepts. Since I know that x is negative 5 is the x-intercept, let me plot that point right there. I also know that y equals negative 2 is the y-intercept, so I'll plot that point as well. And now I've got the pattern down. I can go down 2 and right 5. Down 2 and right 5. There's another point that's on my line as well. So the line itself, I'll do it in black, should look like this. And it's worth noting that that is the same line you would graph if you knew that the y-intercept was negative 2 and that the slope was down 2 and right 5. You'd get to the same other points as well. So you can graph this line using either approach. Panthers, what we're going to do now is give you about 3 minutes to look back through your ISN and your classwork. And when that time is done, we'll give you instructions on how we want you to set the classroom up for today's quiz. Panthers, good luck. You can't fail today's quiz. All you can do is use this as your first attempt at showing us what you can do. I'm very proud of you. Do your very best, and I look forward to seeing you Wednesday morning.